What's up, you guys? All right, we really are going to call these the car files, since I seem to do these whenever I'm picking up Carson. So I have a few minutes before she gets out of school, so I wanted to jump on. So first of all, we took a couple days off. I'm going to be honest, you guys. I started setting some boundaries around my time, and Saturday afternoon, Sundays are for family. So I did not want to talk about it. Well, I did want to talk about it, but I did not choose to go live and chat with you guys about intuitive eating. So we are on day 4 of intuitive eating. So hopefully you guys are getting value out of this. If you are, drop me a comment, drop me a yes. Let me know if you have questions, if this is not sitting well, if it's confusing, all those good things. So we talked about my story. We talked about why macros stopped working for me and other people. We talked about what the goal is for intuitive eating. And now I want to talk about how to get there. Okay, so I think the hardest thing for anyone when we go from, say, counting macros, because that's where most of us are coming from, or some kind of calorie counting of some sort, is trust, right? Like there's this huge fear that if we stop counting or we stop tracking or we stop doing any of that we're not going to be able to trust ourselves. And that's a real fear, right? So the fear of this is my example, right? The fear of I'm just going to eat brownies all the time. And what if that actually happens? Okay, so there's a framework I want you guys, I'm gonna have the hiccups. There's a framework I want you guys to use, to go through this, okay? So it's called the basic framework, okay? So as you go into this, you need to understand it's gonna be a process. Like you're not gonna master intuitive eating in a week. It's just not how it works, okay? So it takes time. You have to actually learn to get into your body. You need to make that connection. You need to let your body trust you, and you need to learn to trust your body. So it's a two-way street, right? It's not just you trusting your body, but it's your body actually trusting you that you're going to give it what it needs when it needs it. Okay? So the basic framework is literally those letters. So B is boundaries. So we talked about boundaries on day 3. And how to set them, okay? So we really need to make sure that we have boundaries that we're set for ourselves, because if you don't have boundaries, you're probably going to go off the rails. And for most of you, what I've seen is you're going to probably end up not eating enough. And not eating enough is just as bad as eating too much, okay? So set up those boundaries, whether it's 3 or 4 meals a day, based around having protein and veggies and a good carb and some fat to make sure kids aren't out for every day, okay? And then listening, make sure that you're actually listening to your body when you set those boundaries. Like, are you full? Are you hungry? Are you bored? Is this emotional eating? Is this numbing? Like, what's actually going on? Okay, so set boundaries. Second is action. So you can't start intuitive eating without acting. Okay, so just start. Say, I'm going to do this tomorrow. And then just start, okay? The minute you start actually taking actions on getting a framework lined out for yourself for intuitive eating, then it's going to work. If you don't act and you just think, just like in anything in life, right, guys? If we're not taking action, we're never going to get there, okay? So boundaries, actions. S is surrender. Probably the hardest part, you guys, is saying I surrender to this process. I know when I did it, I was like, I'm going to see what happens. And if I gain weight, if I get less lean, if whatever, in the process of learning this, that is something that I'm okay with. Okay, so you have to surrender to the process. Stop overthinking it. Just know that it will work if you tune in to what you're doing, you set those boundaries, and you take action. And then you just surrender to the process. Okay, it's going to be a process. It's going to take a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. I feel like it's an ongoing thing, but once you've made that connection to your body, it's something you can do forever. Okay. The I is integrity. So the integrity of doing what you say you're going to do. When you say you're going to do it. So if you set boundaries for yourself, keep that integrity cycle. Every time that you say you're going to do something and you follow through, you build trust in yourself. Okay, so if you say you're going to eat 3 or 4 times a day and it's going to have protein and veggies and carbs or whatever, make sure you do that. Okay, so you've got to have integrity. If you continuously let yourself down and you're like, I'm going to eat 3 meals a day, and then you eat 1, like, you're not building integrity with yourself. So you need to really build up that integrity cycle so that you can show yourself that you really can trust yourself. Okay, so last one is courage. And again, I think that goes with surrender. Again, when we've been obsessed with calorie counting and restricting our food and doing that kind of stuff, it's hard to take this step. Like, it is scary. And I had relapses for months. Not relapses, kind of relapses where I was like, maybe I should just count. Maybe I should track this. Maybe I should whatever. Like, the other tip, delete MyFitnessPal from your phone, right? Like, I took it off my phone. I still kind of knew in my head, probably pretty close to what my macros were, but I tried really hard not to do it, because the minute that you want to go back to that, you are, because it's easy. Okay, so if you really want to get rid of your macros, ditch your macros, get rid of MyFitnessPal. You don't need it. Your body will tell you what it needs, but you have to have the courage to keep going even when it gets hard, the courage when you're not feeling so great, the courage when You know, it's easy to go back into macros because that gives you your sense of security. Okay, so that's a basic formula: boundaries, action, surrender, integrity, and courage. And once you do that for a few weeks, a few months, you're really going to be able to build that trust with yourself and know that that you can do this. Okay, that you can actually eat for what your body needs to maintain your health, your happiness, and to all around just feel your best. So hope this helped. Day 4. Again, if you guys want that handout and you haven't gotten it from me yet, let me know. My computer did crash, so I've had some email issues. I got a new computer, which now I know none of my passwords. So if you guys have not written your passwords down somewhere, go do that, because I'm learning the hard way. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 5. Hope you had a great weekend and a happy Monday, and I'll see you guys soon.